Hey guys, hopefully everyone is doing well. Today's target is to solve question number 8. The chapter which we are related with is company financial statements. And when you see the overall shape of the question that is already in your mind, we do have two parts. Look at here. First part is including two different columns. Here, this is debit column and total amount is present over here. Credit column, total amount is present over here. What does that mean? It's a trial balance and it means assets and expenses are present segregatedly on left side and income liabilities both are present on right, that means credit side. And we do have second part, adjustments. It means we are not only recording these elements of trial balance in financial statement, we are also recording these adjustments in financial statement as well. So we have pro forma of financial statement. Left side we do have three parts. First is direct side where we will calculate our gross profit, then indirect side where we will calculate our net profit, then we have appropriation side and here we will be calculating our appropriation balance which will be transferred to liability side. Here you have seen that there are three parts, 1, 2 and 3. On right side we have balance sheet, upper side. This upper side would be used to record all of our assets, whether they are fixed, current or investment. Then lower side, liability. In balance sheet, asset and liabilities would automatically be equalized. And when adjustments are given in our question, we will be solving them as our first step. So this was the brief introduction. I'm sure you people are now ready to solve the question. Secondly, you are mentally prepared what is our target and what we are going to do today. As it was informed that if trial balance and adjustments both are present at the same time, we will be solving adjustment as our first step. We are ready to start, so let's begin. First, depreciation is to be provided for the year as under land and building 5% straight line. You can see that second depreciation is reducing balance, first depreciation is straight line balance. What does it mean? That both methods, we can have a practice, we can have our hand on both methods in the same question. So it's so interesting to learn something that means two different concepts in a single question. So let's start depreciation upon land and building. For that, what you will do, you will go to indirect side and here you will be mentioning depreciation. For calculation, you will go to fixed asset side. And here first asset is your land and building. Just mention it. Now from trial balance, we will get the amount of land and building. Here we have 14,000. Please note it down. 14,000 is actual amount. So you need to put actual amount over here. There are two methods, but it's little bit easier, direct and straight. Then we need to calculation depreciation, land and building 5%. Now please note it down, you do have original cost and you do have diminishing balance. When it would be said on straight line method, it means we are asking for fixed base method or original cost method. You will charge this depreciation upon original cost that is 30,000. So come over here and you are going to calculate depreciation. How? Original cost is 30,000 and you will calculate its percentage. Once again, I'm telling you what we are doing. Look at here. This is original cost and rate of depreciation is 5%. So you are going to take 5% over here. What was 30,000? That was original cost of asset. Now here somebody may call the cost of building right now is 14,000. Why we are taking 30,000? Because in straight line method, fixed base method, we will always be taking original cost. So 30,000, and why we are taking 5%, that is given in your book. So depreciation is calculated over here. On operating side, we will be having its second effect, that was depreciation on land and building, amount of which we have just calculated is 1500. Just post 1500 in operating expenses. Alright guys, first depreciation is completed. Now we will be looking forward for furniture and plant. There are two different assets. First we will go for furniture, and here we will see how much amount of furniture is given. Look, original cost is 1500, and right now current cost is 800. So you will be putting first 800. We are not concerned with previous cost. Here you will charge its depreciation. Now we will be focusing upon method 10% on reducing balance. Here please understand, this was original cost and this is reducing balance, written down balance, diminishing balance, declining balance. Four names I am telling you. So this is called reducing, declining, diminishing, return of balance 800. So instead of 1500 we are going to charge depreciation upon 800, and the rate of depreciation which is given is 10%. Here we are going to charge 10%. Please note, here it was straight line, we have took original cost, and right here we do have diminishing balance or reducing balance, we have took current amount. So 800 is current value of our asset, and why we are taking 10%, that was given in adjustment. It means our depreciation on furniture is 80, and that would be recorded in operating expense side as well. It would be subtracted, look at here sign, subtracted from asset side and recorded on expense side. Alright guys, now we are going to proceed for our third depreciation, that is plant and machinery. So come over here, write down plant and machinery, amount of which is mentioned over here. There are two amounts, 20,000 original cost, 10,000 current cost. We will be taking current cost of 10,000 over here. Next step is to calculate depreciation, and here again we will seek the method, and for plant and machinery it's also reducing balance. So I'm sure you people know, instead of original cost we will be taking 10,000 reducing, and then we will take 10% because both for furniture and plant and machinery depreciation is same. So what was 10,000? It was current cost of plant and machinery, and 10% has been taken. In this way our third depreciation is also ready. So we are going to record it in operating expense as well. Plant and machinery, amount of depreciation we have calculated is 1000. So guys, you have seen that there were two different methods of depreciation and we have charged them, plus their first effect in operating expense side also completed. It means first adjustment is ended. Now second adjustment, debtors of worth rupees 500 were considered bad. for which fully provision is to be made. You know it very well, in operating expenses side there are 4 elements, but right now there is only one element. Let's see if other elements are present in trial balance as well, so we can write all of them instead. So there is nothing else present over here or over here. So finally we are going to write only new provision. Whenever provision is to be made, that would be deducted from profit. It would be considered as an expense. That is why we are writing it over here. New provision for bad debts, and I think amount is 500 mentioned over here. Since it is considered as expense, first effect, and now we will go to current asset side, and here first sundry debtors would be mentioned over here, and less new provision would be written, and that new provision is 500. So two effects completed. First we have written on expense side, and secondly we are subtracting it from debtors in current asset side. In this way our adjustment number 2 is completed. Next is authorized capital 1000 of 100 each. We will go to fixed liability side, and here we will mention authorized capital 1000 were shares and price of single share. Authorized capital 1000 equity shares of 100 each. So here we will be writing price, total number of share 1000, price of one share 100. So capital is 1 lakh, and this is authorized capital. On the other hand, look at here, out of which 200 shares are issued and paid up. Second, issued and paid up capital would be recorded over here. Only 200 shares are allotted. Price would be considered same. 200 number of shares, 100 price of each of share. So 20,000 is the capital, and that would also be mentioned over here. Look at here, capital 20,000. And same amount we are presenting in fixed liability side, 20,000. And why we have underlined it, it was informed earlier for several times that authorized capital is nominal capital. Actually it's just a permission. On ground or real capital is what we have issued, paid up or subscribed capital, and that is 20,000. It would be added. Since it was already present in trial balance, so there will not be second effect, only single effect we will be taking. So guys, next, provide, there are two provision. First, for audit fee. Audit fee is part of operating expenses. So you will go over here, audit fee. And how much provision is required? 250. 250 would be written over here, and then since it is to be provided provision, so you will mention in current liability as well 250. There is second part, and that is provision for income tax. This is related to appropriation side, and here we are going to mention second provision is for income tax. Just mention over here provision for income tax. Amount of this provision is 2400. Similarly, we will go to current liability side, and here we would also be writing the same 2400. It was informed that each adjustment would have dual effects, and you have seen two effects of audit fee, operating expense and liability. Two effects for provision for income tax, appropriation, debit and liability. Means fourth adjustment is completed. Number 5. Insurance is prepaid. Insurance is part of operating expense, so you will come over here. First you will mention insurance, and then prepaid is to be subtracted. How much prepaid is mentioned? That is 80 rupees. So here first 80 would be subtracted. Then you will go to current asset side, and here prepaid insurance, amount of which is 80. So two effects completed, subtracted from operating expenses, written in current asset side. Now number 6, director have recommended transfer rupees 1000 to debenture redemption reserve. This is related to appropriation. Transfer debenture redemption reserve. There was less space, so we have abbreviated debentures as DEB. Now let's see how much amount should be transferred. That is 1000. So first we will mention 1000 over here, then we will go to current liability side, and there transfer to debenture redemption reserve. Same would be written over here. That is 1000. Post over here. So two effects completed, and you can see that sixth adjustment is having multiple parts. A part is completed. Now B part, transfer 400 to general reserve. Again we will be doing the same thing. Transfer to general reserve, and let's see how much amount that was. 400. Similarly, we will be recording it in current liability as well, and amount of this was 400. You can see that two effects we are completing. After that, equity dividend, this is also part of appropriation side, and here we will be calculating it. Why? Because amount is not given, instead of that percentage is given, 8%, and you know that your capital is 20,000, percentage given is 8%. So here 20,000 amount, and then you will calculate 8%. How? Dividend would always be calculated upon capital. Amount of capital was 20,000 and 8% was required to be calculated, 1600. Similarly, you will go to current liability side, and there you will mention amount of dividend which you have just calculated, 1600. Once again I am telling you, 20,000 was the capital and dividend rate was 8%. So you have just calculated in the same way, capital multiplied by 8%, and same is posted in current liability side. So guys, in this way, no adjustment left. All of the adjustment and their subparts, they were having two effects, and with all due double effects, these adjustments are completed. It means we are now free to start our input taking from trial balance to financial statement. First is land and building 14,000. This is already posted 14,000. After which we have furniture 800. This was also previously written. Then we have plant and machinery of rupees 10,000. This was also written from adjustments. Then we have stock, and please note it down. We have 31st March 93 as our last date, and here same last date is mentioned, so it means a closing stock. Secondly, this is not present in adjustment, so it would have only single effect. We will go to current asset side, and here we will be mentioning closing stock. Amount of closing stock is 12,800. After closing stock, we have salaries, which is part of operating expenses. I think amount is 1800. Just see, let's confirm. Yes, salary is 800, and this amount has been written in operating expenses over here. After salaries, we have printing and stationery. Again, it's part of other expenses. Printing and stationery. I think it was 120. Let's see and confirm. Yes, it was 120, and we have posted 120. So printing was recorded, after which we have debtors 7,000. Current asset side, and here 700 would be mentioned. Once again, we'll have to see it's very small amount of debtors. 7,000. Okay. So debtors are recorded. Then we have investment. Investment is part of asset side, and over here you will be recording investment. Amount of which is 600. Again, blurry image. 600 is amount of investment. Now after investment, let's see what we have. That is cash 200. Cash is part of your current asset. Amount mentioned is 200. Alright guys, I have seen preliminary expenses adjustment previously. Oh god, this seventh adjustment, thankfully we have seen. We were focusing upon sixth adjustment, but there was seventh adjustment as well. It was decided to write off half of preliminary expenses. And why I remembered, I have just seen preliminary expenses 400 over here. So guys, look at here. There is another adjustment, write off half of preliminary expenses. We will go to operating side, and there we will mention preliminary expenses, and it is said to take only half. Total amount of preliminary expenses is 400. We will be taking only half, so 400 divided by 2. So where remaining half will go, half is expense and remaining half would be recorded in asset side, and that is 200. Alright guys, so preliminary expenses noted down. Now cash at bank. This is part of current asset side. So here cash at bank. Amount of cash at bank is 800. After cash at bank, we have advance income tax. That means it's prepaid. Again, current asset. So here, advance income tax, and we have advance income tax amount 800. I think alignment is the problem in PIX. 800. After income tax, we have interest. It is present on debit side, so we will go to other expense side. First, we will write interest, and now let's see how much amount of interest, that is 200. So just post 200 in other expense side. After interest, we have debenture interest. So now this is a little twist. Although we have already done it, but you will have to be focused. Look over here. We have been given debentures over here 10,000, but this is not 8%. Typographical mistake is 4%. So debenture 10,000, you will go to fixed liability side. Over here, you will write debentures. Amount is mentioned 10,000. Now you will come over here. It is to be recorded in other expenses, interest on debentures. The percentage which is present would be recorded over here, and that was 4%. So 10,000 is amount of debenture. Look at here. Amount of debenture present in trial balance 10,000. And I have said that was 4%. You will record over here. What would be recorded over here? We will see if interest on debenture is present in trial balance. Look, debenture interest is also present in trial balance, that is 400. So you will record this 400 over here. And why we have left this place, and why interest on debenture percentage is calculated outside, because sometime it may be possible there might be outstanding interest. How you will calculate that outstanding? Difference of these two amounts. Since difference is 0, so there is no outstanding. What does that mean? Total interest you were liable to pay was 400 and you have paid 400. So no difference. Now next, you need to go to fixed liability side. There is no outstanding interest. It means debenture recording is complete. After debenture interest, we have director fee. This is part of operating expenses. Director fee. Okay, so let's see how much director fee it is. 200. Just write down in operating expenses. After director fee, we have rent and insurance. Again, part of operating expenses, rent and insurance. Amount is 280. Write down amount in operating expenses. So guys, you have seen that our left side, that means debit side, is completed. Now we will be focusing upon right side. Capital 20,000, and this capital 20,000, look at here, already recorded. After that, general reserve will go to liability side, and here we have our reserve side. So just mention general reserve, amount of which is 3,000, post in reserve side of liability. After that, we have debenture 10,000 already recorded. Look at here. debentures 10,000. Then we have bank overdraft, part of current liability, and here we will be recording bank overdraft, amount of which is 150. Just put in current liability side. Then we have creditors, so we need to make some place, and what to do, we have to create space over here. It would happen in future as well, because you know that as we will proceed to next questions, their length would be increased. So amount of sundry creditors, okay, there is a problem, 1600. So you will be putting 1600 in front of creditors in liability side. Then we have share premium, again it's liability, and that's too bad, we need further space. So once again, let's see if next is, okay, that is reserve. So we need to create another line for liability side. For what? That was share premium. So write down share premium over here, and amount of share premium is 1000. Just put 1000 in front of share premium. So guys, then we have debenture redemption reserve. This is part of reserve. So here you will mention debenture redemption reserve, amount of which is 4000. Write down in reserve side. Now we have gross profit of 10,400. It means we do not need to solve this direct side, and we will directly write gross profit over here, the amount of which was 10,400. Last amount is profit loss account. This is part of appropriation balance, and over here we will be writing it. The amount of profit loss account was 850. So guys, we have seen that all 7 adjustments, they were entered, and step by step, very slowly, we have entered all elements of trial balance carefully to their respective places. Although this picture was not properly aligned, so possibly some amount may have been written incorrectly. Let's see, after calculation we will be able to know that. Okay, one thing we have seen that rent and insurance is present over here. So you may write 280, and we do not need to write separately, already a place was reserved. So let's calculate insurance less its prepaid. Finally, our gross profit is not required to be calculated, it is already present. So we will be now focusing upon calculation of net profit, for which the first step is to take sum of operating expenses. That's what we have got. After that, there is no operating income, and we have two other expenses. Just take their sum. So this would be considered as total of other expense. Other income is not present, so you may write 0. Next step is to calculate our net profit, for which first step to take gross profit, this, then subtract operating expenses 4850, then add operating income which is not present, then subtract operating other expense at 600, after that add other income, and finally we have got uh, our net profit 4950. Let's check it out from the book. Answers are given, and here net profit is 4950 and we have got 4950. So that's a good thing. 2 parts out of 5 parts completed. We will now be focusing upon appropriation side. Now please note it down. There are 2 parts in appropriation account. This would be considered as your receipts. These are payments. And let's calculate final amount of appropriation balance. For this, first we will go to net profit. Then you will add your profit loss account. After that, you will subtract all expenses present over here. These are 4. All of them would be subtracted. So what we have got is 400. This is appropriation balance to be transferred to balance sheet. Let's check answer if it is given. So guys, you can see that balance of appropriation is 400. It means our problem has been sorted out. This is 400. And finally, this appropriation balance is required to be transferred to fixed liability side. We will add appropriation balance, that is 400. After which, guys, we are ready to start calculation regarding fixed liability side. It was capital. We have added operating appropriation balance. After that, debenture amount was this. So finally, we can take sum of both to get grand total of fixed liability side. So there are 3 parts. First part was fixed liability. We will now focus upon current liability side, and okay, so here we will take sum of all current liabilities. So total of current liability is ready. Then we have reserves. There are 2 reserves. Just take sum of both. So finally we have got sum of all 3 elements related to our liability side. Appropriation balance is over there. So once again we'll have to see it very carefully. Audit fee provision was 250. Okay. Provision for income tax was 2400. Okay. Transfer to redemption reserve 1000 was okay. General reserve 400 was okay. Dividend was 1600, that is also okay. But why cash is written over here? Okay. So cash was part of current asset side, and luckily we have seen it. Cash amount is 200. So let's get back, and this cash was not supposed to be written over here. Alright guys, so total of liability side we have got, this was total of fixed liability, then this was total of current liability, and we have total of reserve. While adding all three, we will get total of liability side 45800. Let's check it out. So in our book, balance sheet total is 45800 and we have got 45800. So what does that mean? All three are completed, after which we will now be focusing upon our asset side. First, land and building, subtract its depreciation. Then we have furniture, subtract its depreciation. We have plant and subtract its depreciation. All depreciations are subtracted. There is no other fixed asset, so simply you can take sum of all these assets. Fixed asset completed. Let's focus upon current asset. We have debtors, subtract its new provision. Remaining, no adjustment is required. Let's calculate total of current asset. Ready? Investment, there is only one amount. Let's have it. Alright, so here we do have our total side, and we need to see it again. It should be 45,800, 45,800, let's 44,200, 1,600 was an amount which was required to be added and something was missed. Let's see if 1,600 is present anywhere in our question. Let's see. Anywhere, if we will see 1,600, that is creditors. Okay. So in your exam, it may be possible some amounts can be misleading. As you have seen that cash was present on downside. So once again, we'll have to check it out. 14,000 was amount of land and building, and we have calculated depreciation upon 30,000. 12,500 okay, furniture okay, plant and machinery 10,000, 10%, that is also okay. Sundry debtors are okay, prepaid insurance, closing stock, preliminary expenses, cash at bank, advance, income tax and cash. Investment 600. So once again we'll have to tally these amounts over here. 3 depreciation, debtors, authorized capital, provision, prepaid insurance 80 is mentioned. Prepaid insurance 80. Okay, let's check their total again. How we have calculated it. Sum is taken correctly. So we'll have to observe our asset side once again. Closing stock 12,800 and closing stock is 12,800. Then debtors may be possible. We have not written. Debtors are 7,000 and amount of debtors 7,000. Okay. Investment at cost 600, that is written. Cash 200 written. half preliminary expenses 200 return. No, here we'll have to see. These are not 400. Preliminary expenses are 2400. So how our net profit arrived? There is some doubt about preliminary expenses. Let's see how much amount of preliminary expenses. 400. Okay, we have got our misleading amount. Look, I was saying that since it is not aligned well, so cash at bank was 2400, while the cash at bank we have written is 800. So somehow advance income tax amount was written. Look at here, advance income tax was 800, cash at bank was 2400. So instead of writing 2400, we have written 800. So let's correct that amount. Cash at bank. Look at here, both are written 800. So this was 2400. And now you can see we have got the correct answer 4580. Look at here, balance sheet 45800. Now here is the question. It was very easy for me to just edit and cut this part to see where we have written the wrong amount. But why I am not censoring it, why I'm not cutting it? Because it's a very common process of calculations. Sometimes it's a human error, and you can see that instead of writing, now please note, amount of cash at bank was 2400, but since it was going little down, so by mistake it was taken as 800. So it's common human error. Why I have not censored it or edited it? Because you will have to face the same problem when you will be appearing in your exams. At that stage, you will have to be cool, you will have to be calm and think it's very natural. So when you will see amount is missing, just go back and tally the amounts. So it is impossible that you will not be able to see where the error has become. So guys, you have seen that all three parts are completed. Gross profit was already given 10,400. Then we have calculated indirect side. Net profit was 4950. And look at here, 4950 was net profit. After that, we have calculated appropriation side. Balance was 400. And you have seen balance of appropriation is 400. Then asset side was calculated, amount of which was 45,800, and our balance sheet is also 45,800. Then the liability side 45,800, both are equalized. It means all parts are now completed in a proper and accurate manner, which means our solution is ended. Now here is a humble request, although solution is in front of you, but still I am requesting you to please practice this question for 3-4 times, and after practicing, if you still feel anything difficult, you are very open to share your problem through messages, text or your comments. I will humbly be trying my best to answer your question quickly. So it's time to end our lecture. Thank you very much for your time. It's time to say goodbye. Allah Hafiz.